VMI has made me a more focused, more determined, a more selfless and honorable person than if I had been to any other school in the country.
The opportunities cadets have to step up to become leaders far surpasses what you'd find at other institutions, small or large.
I don't think I would have had this much success if I went anywhere else.
That's the thing about this place. It keeps pushing you until it molds you into something great.
They ground you in honor, integrity, and discipline.
At VMI, I think the people who went here, a strong characteristic is they're always for one another.
And when you see your cadets, the pride, you're never going to be able to explain that to somebody. It's an amazing thing, and it's a wonderful experience, and I think everybody should have those feelings about their children.
At the Battle of Newmarket in 1864, there was one young cadet standing by the split rail fence just before they entered the field of lost shoes. He wrote in a letter home to his father after the battle, he says, "Every Union musket was pointed right at me." But then he said the order came for us to step over that split rail fence into the wheat field. All concerns of individuality left me. It was the Corps forward. It was his brotherettes. It was the Corps moving forward collectively that would accomplish this mission.
You're about to enter the toughest military school in this country. Take pride in that.
You know, I didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. I didn't know where I wanted to go. The bio department has set me up to do excellent on the MCATs or med school. It just comes down to hard work, and you know that's not anything too hard to do for me when you're at VMI. Doing rank or RDC or ring figure chair, I saw those opportunities as a way to better myself in terms of leadership. So I always saw a purpose in everything that we were doing, whether it was training on the stoops to doing the O course to physical fitness in the morning. I knew everything was teaching me something important.
Yes, it is hard. It's a lot of yelling and you're moving fast, but at the same time, you don't realize how quickly you learn how to manage time, how to pay attention to small details and be able to take accountability for your actions. Well, when I walk away from VMI, I'll be taking the fact that I know that I'm a confident person. I've grown here as a man. I know I'm honest. I know how to work hard as well as dealing with different things. I'm able to juggle everything going on in my life. You know, I get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I go to class until 4, then I go to football, and I'm not done with my day until 8 o'clock, and then I study. And I think that's the greatest thing that VMI has taught me, is how to deal with different things and be able to take it on and stride with confidence.
There's a sternness that every XO or every trainer needs to have. I do get a little bit mean, but I have very high standards because, as I explained to the corporals, we're trying to get that excellence. We're trying to get that standard of perfection. We're not trying to be the next George C. Marshall. It's an even broader topic. We're trying to be a VMI cadet.
I knew that those aspects would harden me into a more polished individual.
I knew that they were going to yell, and I was ready for it.
I said inside of me, they're not going to get me down, I guarantee you.
Well, I would be a nut if I weren't nervous when I came to VMI.
VMI is a 24/7 education.
It was very trying, but now that I'm an adult and I've come out of that experience, it's helped me beyond measure.
I knew that I wanted to have not an ordinary life, and I knew that I wanted to go to a school that had an honor system and, you know, single sanction and like just had that higher standard.
When I'm doing something that I'm passionate about and I have that mental toughness, I mean, you're unstoppable.
You keep pushing through barriers. You keep wrestling challenges that are time-oriented, stress-oriented, academic-oriented, physically-oriented. And you've got all of that you bring to the professional job after school.
It's putting out young men and women who have gone through a process that's taught them tremendous responsibility, a sense of duty, a sense of doing the right thing.
It was the accuracy, it was the integrity, big time.
Discipline, time management, organization, attention to detail.
The adversity, the Spartan life, the learning to appreciate things in life that you take for granted.
A sense of responsibility. It requires embracing the sense of duty, and it requires a measure of personal sacrifice.
Being able to put your head on the pillow every night and go to sleep and know that you've done the right thing.
The Gottwalds, through the chemistry department, provided me a scholarship to help get through VMI, and one of the things I want to do is bring back my chemistry talents, my enthusiasm for science, and hopefully instill some of that into our students.
To take them also to these research conferences in the summer, we're asking them to be at the level of a graduate student and to present their research at that level, and they do it very well. They're very confident.
A professor from a large university, a large research university, came to VMI recruiting our graduates. He said, "We love you sending your graduates to us. They're so driven and hardworking, and they have this ability to work through a project and achieve a goal." And they said, "It's a no-risk investment to us to have your graduates come to our school."
And it's amazing how successful these guys are. It's really amazing how generals, presidents of companies, and none of these guys would have gone to VMI if it hadn't been for the Cadet Club and the athletic scholarship they had. Now I'm telling you, all this is not being filmed, but it's maybe you offer.
I actually think I've always been kind of scared to be a leader, but I feel like VMI really forces you to do it. I grew up in a family with just a single mom, 5 kids, so it's pretty tough. And I knew my mom wouldn't be able to pay for it, so I knew I would have to do this for myself, and I don't know what I would do without all the alumni that helped out.
Those of you who put your heart and soul into it, whether it's somebody with a lot of rank or a private, doesn't matter. You're getting things out of it, you don't even realize it till you're gone.
That our father made it very clear to us that his VMI training is what kept him alive in World War II and as a POW in World War II, and helped him survive the POW camps and the death marches. He came back through Poland back into Germany in the winter of '45. And we obviously wouldn't be here today without that. So we're indebted to VMI, forever.
Those friendships that you walk out with, that network has come into play time and again. I can tell you of hearing Brother Rats talk about sent out on missions in Vietnam where a Brother Rat showed up out of the blue to come to their aid on something.
When my mother passed away, and when I was 12 years old, my father's Brother Rats in the VMI community at large overwhelmingly supported him and overwhelmingly came to his side.
We do call each other in emergencies in a second.
And all of us, when we get together, I'm getting ready to go to my 45th reunion, there'll be story after story after story of things that we will laugh so hard that we will cry.
We never miss a reunion.
Oh no, we wouldn't do that, no.
Just had my 75th reunion last spring. I was the only one that appeared for the class, yeah. Everybody up there, when they found out I was the oldest one there, went out of their way to look after me. I mean, they had no reason to be especially nice to me, except they respected the fact that I was still going at almost 100 years. I'll be VMI man till I die, you can bet on that.
If we don't continue to support, then
the VMI that we all know and love is not going to be the same place it is today.
It takes an investment to produce the solid citizens that we expect.
We all got to give back. As we find some success in life, don't wait for somebody else to do it. Do it now. Do it when you get some enjoyment out of it. You know, do it when you're alive. Help them out.
For those alumni that do donate and do give scholarships to students, it's vital.
And part of what makes your degree and my degree the best degree out there is that the Institute has been around for a long time, and we want to continue to have it until my great-great-great-grandkids are cadets.
Somebody's got to keep this going.
VMI has done more for me than I've ever been able to do for VMI. If I've been successful, it's because of VMI.
It was definitely worth the investment. I thought it was an excellent investment. I actually thought it was a very reasonable investment.
In looking back, it clearly was a very good place for me, and has stood me in good stead throughout the rest of my life.
You will look back on VMI compared to the rest of your life and say it's a breath of fresh air. It's a pretty special place. It's, you know, it's a lifetime.
I think the VMI graduates are big contributors to society.
People are, I think, longing for leaders of character. Our country's desperate for it. That's why I think the future of VMI is so bright.
Exactly what do we mean by uncommon purpose? What is uncommon is this persistent pursuit of this high standard of values that you don't give up on. And you don't let it be replaced. You don't give in to the easier path. And you make that a point of pride.
This country needs VMI. It needs its people.
In 1839, when VMI was established, almost all of society shared the values of VMI. You've seen the values we stand for. There are a lot of other people that don't think those values are as important.
There has to be a place that somebody can go to see that your word is your bond.
This notion of the influence of a Virginia Military Institute graduate on the direction of the nation is so disproportionate to anything any other school produces. It's just breathtaking.
The path has just been paved for me at this place, and I'm so grateful to have come here.
I love VMI. I would never go anywhere else, even if I had a chance and they would pay for it all. I would never leave VMI. This was the best decision I've ever made, or the best opportunity I've ever had in my entire life.
You say no ordinary college, you bet, no ordinary college. We don't have ordinary people that walk out this door. It's important, I think, for all of us to understand what it takes to keep this going. Then it really is up to us who really truly believe it, who have lived it, who have benefited from it, who want to pass it on to our children, to make the commitment to keep it alive.